Hello and welcome to another Monday Morning Trader, the show designed to help you supplement your income. Today is April 4th, 2020, and we are going to take a look at the stocks on our radar for this coming week of April 6th to see how we can make, hopefully, some more money on a covered call. The stocks on our radar this week, 4 of them this week instead of 3. We have GILD, that's Gilead Sciences, a research-based pharmaceutical working on a vaccine for COVID-19. Heard some good news from them on Friday. It did not pop as much as I thought it was going to, but just some good news coming down the pipeline for them. APT, Alpha Pro Tech Limited, basically they're the N95 producer, and obviously with all the masks out there, a company that has done really well recently. We'll see if they can continue it. USO, United States Oil Fund, tied to the oil market and oil futures. A good news tweeted out by President Trump on Thursday helped this to pop really well at the end of the week last week. And then Work, which is Slack Technologies, which helps people communicate from far away, which is kind of the way everyone is here at the moment with our current situation. So let's take a closer look at each of these. Gilead, closing price on Friday, $78.21, was up big, $1.23. Almost touched 80 and then came down a little bit at the end. A lot of rumors out there that they would possibly get bought out. There were some $90 calls last Friday. Some people thought that this was going to go up to 90, but it did not, obviously. Sometimes people who take those shots can be off by a little bit, so I thought, well, this one might be one to watch. A lot of open interest, a lot of volume at the $80 strike price, so that's what we're looking at here, $2.41 bid. Again, over almost 21,000 already kind of called out here or call volume there. If you look at the bottom, a lot of puts, even more calls, about a 2-to-1 call ratio there. Just a lot of activity here out of this stock. Again, these companies that are working on vaccines have been very, very popular lately. And you can look here, March, it got very, very popular. If we look, it touched 86 almost there for just a bit, and then came back down. It's been all over the place there in the 70s here this past month. But again, I think with just the activity going on, it seems like this thing is due to pop just because of all the crazy call options and out of the money calls that people are placing. So Gilead Science is one on my radar for next week. Another one, APT, up big Thursday and Friday, 1580 it finished at. This thing touched, was up at 40 here early in March and then came back down, and then it slowly started to come up. If you look at some different call activity there, yes, 16 strike price, $1.50, $2 ask. You're going to make a really good return on that. However, if you look at the $20 strike price, a lot of open interest there still. Still getting 85 cents for that, and that would be if it goes up basically another 25% and you'd get it called on you. Put to call ratio, a lot more calls going on than puts. I like that. The thing is, the CDC recently said that they feel like people should be wearing masks to try to prevent the spread of this thing. So now granted, not everybody's going to go out and buy an N95, but still this is a company that has a lot of upside there still. As you can see, again, early March got up really high, has slowly come back down, but then at the end of March, just with, well, I think people realizing, hey, maybe I need to have one of these and wear it around, the price has gone back up a little bit. Yes, it has gone very, very high, but I think this thing could still pop, finish in the 20s. And that's why I have it on my radar here for next week. Next one, USO, up. It was about $4, maybe even under $4 at some point in the week, and then went up very high. Basically, this Saudi Arabia and Russia oil battle here. Everybody kind of flooding the market with too many barrels of oil. Supposedly, President Trump has talked to Putin, and Russia's going to cut back on their supply they're throwing out there. As soon as he tweeted that out, as soon as that was said, oil just jumped huge. $6 strike price next week, 68 or 69 cents. That's a super good return there, obviously. And if you look in the volume and the open interest, a ton of interest there, a ton. I mean, that's a whole lot of activity there going on. Now, if you look at the put and the call volume as well, a lot, that's over 1 million right there at the put and the call volume, more calls and puts. I have heard that unless some news comes out this weekend, that oil prices could go back down, so this would be a little bit on the risky side there. However, I feel like oil has bottomed. If you see there, it was up in the 11s, it was steady, 11, 11, 11. And then as soon as this issue happened between Saudi Arabia and Russia, it just dropped like a rock down into 4. Now, if we hit the bottom there, you would think, all right, that this thing is slowly going to climb back up. And this is going to be a pretty safe call option. However, we're going to see what happens over the weekend, see if there's any more news before we would make a play on this for next week. But again, USO is something to keep an eye on for next week. Last one is Work. That's Slack Technologies. Finished Friday, nothing. Didn't go up, didn't go down. It was popping around a little bit, but it finished right where it started, 24.50. A decent return there, probably in the 3.5% range. Not a lot of volume, not a lot of open interest. A decent amount of call and put volume there, but not the same numbers that typically you see out of what I pick. But my rationale is this: I think Work is going to get more and more, or Slack, I guess, technology is going to get more and more popular, more and more used. More and more people are working from home, and I think that is not just going to be a short-term trend. I think that is going to be what tends to happen by a lot of these companies. You'll see this has been all over the place, but typically centers around the 22 or so price range. Now, it has gone up and went up to about 30 almost, and then it's settled down a little bit. I think it's probably going to be back on the way up just because so many different states are getting these shelter-in-place rules that they're supposed to stay at home and only essential workers go to work. So I feel like more and more people are going to be using Slack. More and more companies are going to be instituting it. Just seems like a stock that might be on the rise here. So those are our picks for this week. Again, Gilead Sciences, APT, we have Slack Technologies, and we have USO. Check back on Monday. We'll tell you what we wound up going with, and hopefully you can come along with us and make some money on your own. Remember to subscribe if you have not done it. Would love to have you as a subscriber to this show. And again, happy trading next week. Remember, stay green, not greedy.